What becomes more fucked up the longer you think about it? Is it crazy how saying sentences backwards creates backwards sentences saying how crazy it is? Watching my dog die in my arms. I was actually just going over it again in my head the other night. It was the hardest thing I've had to deal with so far. Watching the life leave his eyes was soul crushing, and unfortunately from time to time it pops back up in my head, usually when I'm trying to go to sleep. The longer I think about it, the more details I remember, and the more heartbroken I get. Miss you, Joe. Language. Just trying to think how it came about, how our ancestors started forming sounds and combining them to make words. How one slight tonal change or pronunciation could mean something totally different. How many different languages we have, or how many have been lost to time. How money literally has control over you. When you have it, you basically can do whatever you want. People value you simply because you have more means for survival. It makes sense, but in reality, it kind of just seems we are boasting over slips of paper and digital numbers on a screen. When you don't have money, it's like the world comes crashing down. You realize money is literally the only thing keeping you and the average person from total existential ruin. Your reality, your body, everything you know, is drastically shaped by money. The whole idea of what life should be like, at least in middle-class America. As a young person, you pretty much have to go to college after high school if you want a decent paying, secure job. Of course if you go into a trade it's a different story, but stay with me here. So you have to go to college if you want a good job. But, oh shit, you weren't still a student in high school, so no scholarship for you. Your parents are good, hard-working people and they make just the right amount, so that you don't get much in the way of help from them, but you also can't qualify for grants or hardship scholarships. So, you are forced to take out tens of thousands of dollars in loans to pay for the school that you have to attend. You graduated, hooray. You're not exactly happy with the career you'll have to enter, but hey, you'll make good money and have job security. And congrats, you married the girlfriend you met in college. Now it's time to buy a house. The market in your area isn't great, but you find a pretty nice house that you can afford on a 30-year mortgage. Between the house and the new cars you bought to reliably get you and the wife to work, there isn't much cash left over to go on vacation. Oh well. Priorities, right? Things are good for a few years and you finally have a little security in the bank. But now it's time for kids. You have to, because you only want to replace your wife and yourself. You're responsible people. Only now there are two tiny people that are reliant on you for literally everything. But that's okay. You'll take the financial strain and the stress because you love them. Fast forward a few years. Your life has become a cycle. You go to the job that you now resent so you can pay off the loans that you had to take out for college. Your income also goes to paying for the house that's now just a little too small. Your car payments are still coming because you have to upgrade for the kids' safety. Every hour at work is spent in an effort to pay bills that keep you firmly rooted in the decisions you made 10 years ago. Oh sure, you go on vacation to Disney World or to visit grandma halfway across the country. You'll definitely go to Europe when the kids are out of the house. You've only had sex once in 3 years, but you're living the American dream. Rinse and repeat. Go to work, pay your bills, and support your family. Keep telling yourself it'll get better. Eventually you learn to just appreciate the little things, because life isn't nearly as exciting as you'd once hoped. But you keep doing what you're supposed to do until you're old enough to go to a nursing home. Your kids visit every once in a while, but they are very busy digging themselves out of the same ever-deepening hole that you have been in since you were 18. Eventually, death becomes your only relief, and you welcome it. Fuck that. The amount of chickens in the world that get consumed each day. I thought about it when seeing a share a portion of chicken wings in a restaurant. There were 12 wings in this one portion. That's at least 6 chickens that have died in that one dish. Consider how many of that dish the restaurant sells a day. Let's say at least 10. That's at least 60 chickens that have died just for that particular dish in that restaurant alone every day. Then think of how many other restaurants there are in your area. Then think about how many restaurants there are in the world. That's not even thinking about the amount of whole chickens that are bought to cook at home, or chicken that is used for pet food, etc. My mind can't comprehend how many chickens must be eaten daily, and I've just blown my mind again thinking about it whilst writing this comment. The price we force others to pay to live as we do. If you think about it, so much of our stuff is built in shit conditions. Built by people who have to take whatever money they can, in countries often without the kindest of governments, which permit factories to enforce pretty horrible labor conditions. Our clothes are produced this way. Our phones, our laptops, the cases they come in. The suffering that is endured to allow us to live in comfort is horrifying. And yet none of us will change our lifestyle, myself included. We'll make excuses. One person changing won't make any difference. Or I donate to charity. I'm trying to help these people in my own way, but ultimately we live with it because it's easy. We were born in the right place to take advantage of it. So we do. The color yellow. See, there are light receptors in your eyeballs for red, green, and blue, even though there are visible light waves in a lot more colors than that, like the whole rainbow of colors. Light enters your eye, stimulates the blue receptor, and your brain says, hey, that's blue, so you see blue. Now let's imagine something is purple. There's no purple receptor, but it's part blue and part red. They both get stimulated, and brain says purple. So now let's imagine something is yellow. The yellow light enters your eye, and there's no yellow receptor. Instead, green gets a little bit stimulated, and red gets a little bit stimulated, so your brain knows that's yellow. But wait, what happens when red and green light waves enter your eye? Well, the red receptor and green receptor both get stimulated, and your brain just assumes that's yellow again. So you see yellow, even though it's not. So, there's real yellow, things that are actually yellow, and reflect yellow light waves to our eyes, like a banana. And then there's perceived yellow, things we see as yellow, but are actually red-green, like a photo of banana on your computer screen. And we can't tell the difference. Why am I me instead of someone else? Then you realize you are someone else to someone else's me, and maybe they're asking the same question. For clarification, Sonder isn't exactly what I'm referencing, though it's related I guess. It's this almost existential anxiety about why am I this 31-year-old dude stuck in traffic on 66, instead of some 20-year-old working a cash register in another country. And then I realize there might be some 20-year-old working a till, and wondering why they aren't some 31-year-old half the world away stuck in traffic, and how I could be that other person, and would not have an answer, because the question would remain. It's about getting stuck in the loop of questioning the nature of consciousness, and trying to find purpose in the chaos of chance. Another user mentioned the short story The Egg, which delves into this a bit. The video game, Soma, as well. I suggest looking into both. Tanning. I can just imagine David Attenborough giving commentary. In an effort to attract the attention of the opposite sex, the females risk skin cancer by laying in artificial sunbeds to intentionally burn their own skin. This causes their skin to produce melatonin, which results in an overall darker complexion. The butterfly effect of previously seemingly small choices in our past. How much would be different if I made different choices? A almost disturbingly large part of my life can basically be traced back to when I begged my mom to let me play World of Warcraft. Essentially my friends, jobs, living situations have all been changed because of the people I met on WoW. And even odder than that, choices like which server and faction I chose. Had I not picked the server I did, I would have never met a very good friend of mine. It's like so many little things fell into place and completely changed my life. If I think about it, it mindfucks me trying to determine how my life may be different. My grandma's life, and how she fills her time day after day. She's up at the crack of dawn. Zero hobbies. Doesn't really watch TV. Stopped cooking a year ago. What does she do all day? Isn't she bored? Is she sad? I hope she's not sad. That kinda makes me sad. Now I want to spend time with her. Eating things like ground up dead cow topped in coagulated cow nipple juice is obviously weird. But say you can't handle the thought of slaughterhouses and go vegan. Some of the food you consume is effectively the detachable amniotic sac of a plant made to nourish the offspring of a plant in its earliest days of life, before it can do photosynthesis on its own. Other times, you're eating plant genitals, or a fruit evolved to entice you to eat, so that the plant seeds can be spread through your shit. Then there are other plants where we just hack off some of the living being's literal limbs, just for the sake of making another plant taste better. Then most plants themselves effectively feed on organic goo made up dead stuff and shit. How much our society is governed by money, class, and the fact that every action by any living organism is an act of pure selfishness to serve themselves, whether it's socializing with friends or donating to charity, the result is always considered self-beneficial. I came upon a website that depicts the size of our solar system, a tediously accurate scale model of the solar system. Joshworth.com. One day when I had a lot of time on my hands I went through it all, and this one line blew me away. If the proton of a hydrogen atom was the size of the sun on this map, we would need 11 more of these maps to show the average distance to the electron. Never confirmed if this was true, but if someone could, that would be awesome. Quite remarkable if you think about it. Edit. Another quote from the site that I loved was, "It seems like we are pathetically insignificant and miraculously important at the same time." I feel it gave me some type of closure when my mind was running crazy while trying to comprehend this. I hope it does the same for you, lol. That Mickey Mouse has a dog named Pluto. Think about this for a second. Goofy is a dog as well, but he gets rights and respect. Do we ever see any other pets in that universe? The only difference between Goofy and Pluto is marginal intelligence. Mickey Mouse keeps a mentally challenged person as a pet. How you truly can't know a person. Someone you once thought the world of could become unrecognizable and a disappointment. How you can do so much for a person and are solely relying on their selflessness and hope that they are good. It's a truly terrifying notion, as I'm not one to give up on people easily. To make me means you failed and failed hard as a person. But I fail in seeing these faults quick enough, and that is the most fucked up thing once I admit that.